self-education, right? Doing research on your own and also through school is what really allowed you to gain a better understanding of your own biases and about white supremacy in general. Same for
Mm-hmm.
me. Same for me. It was independent study and going to college, really. And a lot of
Yeah.
people who come on here and talk about their evolution of race consciousness talk about the fact that it was higher education that really opened the door for them to understand the lies that they were told about the subject of race.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, so I think the fact that so many people have that college or independent study as the way that they were able to deprogram themselves, I think that just goes to show that there's still a lot of ignorance out there because most people don't go to college. Most people don't self-educate or read books. Like you said, the new generation, they don't even know what a book is, like a lot
Right.
of them. So we're going to have to find ways to get through to people, which is exactly why what I want to do, and I want your feedback on this, Eric, but I'm trying to create a situation where I'm able to get people in an environment where number one, they feel safe enough to have a conversation about race and examine their own biases, right? Because that's incredibly important. Like you said, when people feel like you hate them, right, then they can't learn
Mm-hmm.
from you. It's
That's
similarly
right.
when people are uncomfortable, it's more difficult for them to learn. Like we're taking away lunch
Mm-hmm.
and breakfast that we give to students at public schools. Well, how do we expect people to learn when they're hungry? Like
True.
it's similar to that. You want to create the
Mm-hmm.
environment for learning to occur. Um, so I want to create that safe space for people, but I also want to create that environment so that I can challenge them, right? So that I can
Mm-hmm.
challenge them to reflect upon their own values, specifically in the race context, whether they have a value of anti-racism or not. Okay. And to show people that taking on a value of anti racism is a necessity to fight against racism, white supremacy. You have to consciously make a choice to do that. And the only way you can consciously make that choice is to understand one's racial past and one's racial present. And most people have not gone through that process. That's why I
Mm-hmm.
appreciate the conversation with you here today because you described yourself going through that process. You
Yeah.
reflected on your racial past, even here tonight, but like on your own, of course. You've educated yourself. That's step two. Once you reflect, you got to educate, right? You got to know what the
Right.
truth is, what's real, what's not real. Okay. And then you have taken direct action as a result of the education that you got. You talk to your kid, you educate people at your job, you have this conversation with your coworker. These are all acts of anti-racism that you are enacting out in the world to try to transform this into a better place and to protect the people around you and hopefully improve people's quality of life. So I really want to go and have live events, stage events, where I offer people a chance to have a conversation just like me and you are having right now, but people who are
Mm-hmm.
racialized all differently to talk about their evolution of race consciousness, how they're existing now, whether they've taken on anti racism as a value for their life, and what that means, so that people can understand that everyone can make this choice. And the more people who make it, that is what's going to make the difference in transforming our world. It's not going to happen latently, and it's not going to be happen because the government does something. It's not going to happen because a law is passed. It's going to happen because there's a critical mass of individuals who have taken on that value and are acting on it. That is
Mm-hmm.
a power that cannot be stopped.
I agree. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, what are
I
your reflections
believe.
on that?
Well, I think when you say talk about anti-racism, people, especially dealing with white folks and their thoughts, you have to create an environment that's comfortable for them so they will know, because I believe that some white people think they're gonna it's gonna be like a witch hunt for them. They're gonna be burnt at the stake because they have these feelings. That's why I said you can't earlier. You can't teach somebody that you hate, or you can't teach with hate in your heart, or be angry at the person that you're teaching. I believe if you create that space, people and that's comfortable for them to say, I don't like this about black people. I don't like that black people wear their pants down, or I don't like, it can sound outrageous as it needs to be. or needs or whatever they feel, and then we correct the bias and we move forward. Because I think some people don't think it's important. I think a lot of people don't think being anti-racist is important because it doesn't hurt them. It hurts as us as black men. What we go through on a daily basis, like I said, is like carrying a rock on your back, dealing with things. You have to watch how you speak to people. You got to watch what you pick up, what you look at, what stores you go to, how you look. I have to do that every day, in order not to look as if I'm a problem or an issue or about to do something. They don't have to deal with that, so they don't care. It doesn't affect their daily life. And I think as people, as Americans, period, or as people, once we realize that all of that affects us, not being anti-racist can help everybody get along and we can have a better life for everybody. I think that's that will push us in the right direction in this country.
Yeah, 100%. I do want to say one thing. You are right that they don't experience racism the way that we do, white supremacy the way they do. They don't have that boulder on their back that we are carrying, but they do have their own boulder. And that is something that is a direct result of white supremacy. And it's something that they've been taught that they don't have because nobody is talking about it. But in reality, they are burdened by white supremacy. Not in the way that we are burdened at all. But what they have to do is they have to suppress their humanity to abide by white supremacy. They have to suppress their emotions to abide by white supremacy because they have to otherize people and believe that they are better than them, whether that's real or not, right? The only way you can do that is by shutting off reality, right? You have to put yourself into a delusion, and there's a huge cost to doing that. Now, it's true that in America, the price that they have to pay has been whittled down a lot. This whole place has been designed to allow racialized white people to live in a delusion that, they are the best, right? And in fact, the whole country is under a delusion that we are the best country, but there's a huge price that they're paying for that. And I think that the reason why for them and for a lot of others, it seems like they're not paying a price is because most people have not conceptualized what that price is and how it actually impacts people's day-to-day life because they're still able to survive, right? You can live with the pain, right? You can live with pain. People do it all the time, every day, right? Some people with debilitating pain. I mean, they're still alive. They're still out. They're still going to work. Many of them are still doing their stuff, but they're in excruciating pain. But is that the life that they would prefer to live? Of course not. Of course, they'd rather be free of the pain, right? And I see racialized white people in the race context the same way. They're able to survive. They're able to live. They're able to even get money and get property and get this and that. But what they're not getting is the full experience of life. And the people who have deprogrammed themselves and come out of white supremacist mythology, when they talk about coming out of it and the benefits of coming out about it, they consistently talk about the fact that they're living a fuller life that they didn't really have access to before they did that work. They're able to make connections with other humans on a level that they couldn't before. Because suppressing your human connection is necessary for you to hold on to a white supremacist mythology.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, maybe in America, we've made that seem as like not a big deal because we make human life seem like not a big deal in this country, but it is. Yeah. There's literally nothing more important in my opinion. It's life is the pinnacle.
I believe the connection of human beings, like, whether you're white, black, or any color, it's, it can make this place better. And I believe we're divided because of white supremacy. We all divided. Even people that are not black or white, the Indian population, the Asian population, they benefit from white supremacy as well.
Thanks for watching. For access to the full-length conversation and all of the 2-hour-long unedited conversations that I've had on race, click the support link in the description below. Thanks for your support and see you next time.